What's up, you beautiful people? Welcome to another video. Today, I want to share with you 3 things that will help you sell whatever it is that you're selling for 23 times more than the competition. I don't know if it's actually going to be 23 times more, but here's how you can sell things for significantly more than your competition. And it doesn't actually require you to do anything to the product to make it more valuable. What we're going to talk about here is more around mindset and positioning. So the very first thing that we're going to talk about is not selling out of your own wallet. What do I mean by that? So the other day I was on a call, a sales call, actually. I don't do very many sales calls, but one of our students is looking for some help with a product that we're discussing helping them roll out. And one of the interesting things when you start talking to people that want to roll out a high ticket coaching product is they will sell out of their own wallet, which means they see a dollar amount that to them signifies a significant amount of capital, right? Let's just take the example of a $15,000 coaching program for 12 months. For a lot of people, that seems like an extraordinary amount of money. They maybe never spent that much money on coaching before. And so they will naturally think, like, as they go to pitch it, they will undersell it. They will sell it timidly. They will think they won't even maybe pitch it as that. They will sell it for much cheaper. And this is a lot of times why we undervalue our services. We say like, oh, I've never spent that. Therefore, nobody else would ever spend that, right? You can't imagine you spending it, so you don't think anybody else will. So you lower your prices to what you would pay. Maybe you feel comfortable at $3,000. And so now you're selling your service at $3,000. Here's the shift, though. This person that we're talking to, the demographic that he sells to is by definition wealthy. Like they target wealthy individuals. And I was sitting there, I was like, you're selling out of your wallet as a poor person, but the person that you're selling to is not a poor person. They don't think of $15,000 as a big investment. In fact, that might still be too low, because it becomes a red flag to a wealthy person if something is too cheap. If I am making $1 million a year in income, then buying something for $15,000 that could presumably make me $100,000, I might look at that and be like, that seems too cheap, right? I'd rather spend $25,000, $30,000. And this comes to the idea I've talked about in other videos of your baseline money temperature. Everybody has a baseline money temperature. That's an amount of money that for you consider normal. It doesn't set off your red flags as being an obscene amount of money. So when you go out to eat, there is probably an amount of money that you're willing to spend on dinner that you don't even bat an eye at. When you look at the menu and you see everything, it's like burgers for $20. You're like, yep, that's totally normal, not a big deal. If it's $18, doesn't raise a flag. If it's $24, you don't notice it. But if that burger was $40, you go, well, I'm not going to spend $40 on a burger. Boom. That's your money temperature. Your baseline temperature is lower than $40. Is it $30? I don't know. At what dollar do you start to hem and haw? Where you start to go, I don't know, you've exceeded your temperature. Now, there isn't just one number, right? You have your burger number, you have your gym number, the amount that you're willing to spend on a gym. That might be, I spend $25 a month on a gym. Another guy goes, I spend $250 on a gym, right? So in every domain of life, you have a money temperature for that thing. And the key here is that you should never project your money temperature onto somebody else, specifically, especially if the people that you are selling to are, by definition, they have a higher temperature than you. So if you are not making millions of dollars a year in your income, but you have a service that can help high income earners save on their taxes, then you're going to be selling to people who are in a different income bracket than you. You cannot sell from your baseline temperature. Another way of putting this is do not sell from your own wallet. All right. Number 2 is the conviction. If you want to get more for the thing that you're selling, you have to be convicted in the quality of that product. You have to believe that you have the ability to get the result for the person. Now, if you do not believe through and through, from your balls to your bones, that your product can actually do what it says and get somebody the desired result, then you're going to sell it from the back foot with a lack of conviction. And then you're going to hem, and you're going to be willing to offer payment plans, and you're going to be offering discounts because you do not believe it's worth the number that you're asking it. So $15,000 isn't a lot to the high income individual that you might be selling to, but you know it's maybe an okay deal, but for you, you're like, but the product isn't that good. There's only like a 60% chance that guy's going to get the result. And most of my clients, they don't really get that great of results, but some of them do, right? If you're hemming and hawing, you're not going to sell with the conviction. So you need to make the product as good as you possibly can. And then here's a really interesting thing. And this isn't just for you, by the way, because as you grow and you scale, you're not going to be the one that's doing all the sales call, right? You're going to have sales, you're going to have people on your sales team, you're going to have sales managers. And their conviction in the product is everything. So whether or not they believe the product can do what they are saying is going to impact how much conviction they bring into the sales call, and therefore the likelihood that they actually close the deal. So one of the things that you can do to help people increase their conviction is actually reviewing client wins and testimonials before you go into sales calls. So if you spent 15, 20 minutes before you got onto a sales call where you're about to go in there and you're going to pitch this really high value thing, if you just spent the 15 minutes before the call prepping by reading the biggest, best testimonials you've ever gotten from clients who are like, man, you crushed it. This was amazing. We 10X. It was fantastic, right? Read through those and prime yourself and remind yourself that, holy crap, this thing works and people are crushing with it. You will go into that call. You will have more conviction. You will pitch the number with more confidence, and you will therefore make the sale more likely. That's the second thing, is conviction. Third is you need to position the value received versus the amount spent, right? And so we'll go back to this example of the 15,000 because it's just really apropos at this point. If you are a high income earner and you're making $1 million a year, and I told you that this thing is $15,000, but within the first 6 months, our team gets in there, we analyze your tax situation, and in 80% of cases, we are able to save through these different tax strategies and making you aware in like these different savings accounts, that we're able to save you on average 15% every year. Well, 15% of 1 million is 150,000. If I told you it's only $15,000 for the service, would you do that? Would you like $150,000 of savings, tax savings, in exchange for $15,000 of cash? The answer is hell's yeah, right? That's because it's 10x. That's a massive bump there. But a lot of times when we pitch these high value things, we don't anchor them in relation to the value the person's receiving. So when we say, hey, this thing's going to be $50,000 for the year, they go, oh, $50,000. Well, that's very different than you say, hey, this thing's going to be $50,000 by the year. And by the end of this 12-month engagement, the goal for us is that you see at least $500,000 of tax savings, of investment opportunities, or whatever, right? Like that you have this plan in place. So it's 10x. And now they're thinking 50,000 versus the 500,000. They have a number to compare it to. And if you just go into it and you just pitch the number, hey, it's 50 or 15,000 or 50,000, right? And you leave it there, then they don't have that anchor of what is the value. You might have put that into the marketing to get them to click in and get on the sales call, but you need to reinforce it in the sales conversation as well to help them see, hey, if you spend this now, here's what we're targeting, here's what you're going to get. And that's not always the case. Like if you're selling something that's not financially related, if you're helping somebody lose weight, then it's, hey, this $15,000 right now, but in the next 90 days, we're going to lose 15 pounds. And can you put a price on how it's going to feel to be 15 pounds lighter, to be able to play with your kids out in the field and not get tired, to be able to wake up in the morning and your knees don't hurt, to be able to, look yourself in the mirror and be proud of what you see? Like, hell's yeah. So you don't even remember what the price was at this point because you're like, fuck yeah, I want to look at myself in the mirror and be like, yeah, fuck yeah, I like what that guy, how he looks, right? So that's important, is positioning the value versus the cost. And if you do those three things, you don't sell from your own wallet, you sell with conviction, and then you position the value, you are going to be able to charge significantly more for what you're doing. So I guess what's stopping you? Go do it.